Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tempe City Council work study session. Item number 1 is call to order. Council meetings can be watched in real time via Cox Cable Channel 11 and at tempe.gov/tempe11. Members of the public may also attend the meeting virtually through Microsoft Teams. I also want to note, too, that Councilmember Keating is attending the meeting virtually this evening. All right, next up, item number 2, announcements from the mayor and/or city manager. First of all, I've got a couple of announcements here. Items 2A and 2C they are going to actually be moved to a different agenda. So I wanted to make sure to let folks know. That's why I'm going to be taking things slightly out of order. But then I'm going to go to item 2B, Dia de Portugal proclamation. Well, you got. I mean, if you got the flags, you got to come up. You know, I mean, I don't have any props with me other than the proclamation itself. How are you? Good to see you too. How's everything? A long time.
Joe,
how are you?
Nice to meet you, sir.
How are you? All right. So this proclamation reads: whereas June 10th is recognized internationally as Dia de Portugal, el Camões e das Comunidades Portuguesas, honoring the life and legacy of Portugal's national poet, Luís de Camões, and celebrating Portuguese culture and communities across the world. And whereas Portuguese Americans have made meaningful contributions to the cultural, economic, and civic life of Tempe and the state of Arizona, enriching our communities through hard work, traditions, and heritage. And whereas organizations such as Port AZ, the Portuguese American Heritage Club of Arizona, are working to preserve and promote Portuguese language, culture, history, and identity through community events, educational outreach, and cultural exchange. And whereas the city of Tempe values diversity and the contributions of all cultural communities that enhance the vibrancy and inclusivity of our city. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, mayor of the city of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare June 10th, 2025 as Dia de Portugal in Tempe, Arizona. I should also mention, too, at the end of this, too, this also has an addendum that all of our proclamations do not have, which also says, and also to encourage all residents to join in recognizing the contributions of the Portuguese American community and to participate in the upcoming Dia de Portugal celebration on Saturday, June 14th. Had to make sure they get that in there.
At Tempe Eats.
At Tempe Eats, so right at the southeast corner of Mill and Southern at Tempe Eats. Once again, this Saturday, June 14th.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Awesome. Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
I just wanted to know what we were eating.
What you're eating or where you're eating?
Yeah, what?
What? It'll be it's a traditional Portuguese dish. It's going to be barbecue chicken. It's very popular in Portugal.
I was in Portugal, I loved it.
Awesome. So you ate some frango salad. Fantastic.
I'll jump in after.
All right, here we go. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. All right, man.
Do you want to hold the phone?
Oh, I'll just hold it with you.
Okay.
Perfect. There we go.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Last one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much again. Appreciate
Very
it.
good.
All right. Madam City Manager, do you have any announcements this evening?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No announcements. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. Just want to state that guidelines for conduct at City Council meetings are on the table near the entrance for those in attendance at tonight's meeting. We will now play a video with the proper protocol for ensuring the appropriate conduct at City Council meetings.
The City of Tempe welcomes public comment at this time. Disruptive behavior will not be allowed. Continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. We need to be able to hear everyone in the room. Behavior that disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any city council meeting is not helpful and is not permitted. This includes behavior both inside and outside of the council chambers. Should individuals inside the council chambers become disruptive so that city business is not able to be conducted, The mayor will first ask that the individuals allow city business to be completed. There will be time for public comment during the call to the audience portion of the meeting. If no cooperation, the mayor will issue a verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is still no cooperation, the mayor will issue a second verbal warning and let them know that the continued disruptive behavior will lead to removal from the council chambers. If there is no cooperation after asking and 2 verbal warnings, then the mayor will ask security officers to remove only those individuals who are causing the disruption. Security personnel should not engage in any way, but only escort them from the council chambers. If individuals refuse to leave, security personnel shall warn them that they are trespassing and that the next step will be arrest by a Tempe police officer. Tempe officers may have to arrest if individuals refuse to leave. Charges for trespass and disorderly conduct may apply, as well as other charges. Should anyone be asked to be removed, the mayor will recess the meeting.
Thank you very much. So before we move into the call to the audience portion of the meeting, I want to take a moment to address campaign-related activity, especially as we are now in the 2026 election season. City council meetings are open to the public and are a vital forum for civic engagement. We welcome all individuals, including candidates, to speak on matters of public concern during the public comment portion of the meeting. However, because this is an official city council meeting that is both televised and live streamed using city resources, we ask all candidates, including any current council members, to refrain from electioneering or campaign-related activity while participating in the meeting. That means no discussing your candidacy, asking for votes or signatures, or displaying campaign materials such as signs, t-shirts, or literature while speaking. Thank you again for helping us maintain the integrity and neutrality of our public meetings. Which brings me then to item number 3, call to the audience. The City Council welcomes public comment at this time for the issue review session and committee of the whole items on this work study session agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. I don't have any cards at my seat, but I'll turn to our clerk to see if there's any that she might have.
I have not received any. Thank you.
Okay, I'll look to the audience. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on any of these items this evening? If so, please get my attention. All right, seeing that, I'll close that portion of the meeting and move on to the issue review session, which is item number 4 on your agenda. And first up, item 4A, presentation on the 2024-2025 demographic update for Tempe Union High School District. And I see Wydell Holmes and Rick Brammer coming. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Wydell Holmes, Director of Strategic Management Innovation Office. And this afternoon, we're really pleased to have our guests here to present the demographic update that was presented in early May to the Tempe Union High School District Board. As we are a data-driven organization, we really appreciate the specific invitation through Councilmember Hodge to have Mr. Rick Brammer from Applied Economics present tonight. Mr. Brammer has been conducting this demography for the district for over 30 years, since 1994. And he also just recently shared that one of his first jobs was here right on Mill Avenue, working with data as well.
At the Casa Loma.
At the Casa Loma. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Brammer and to share his presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Woods, Vice Mayor Garland, members of the council, it's my pleasure to be here this afternoon. I'll try to keep it brief. I'm a numbers guy. As Council Member Hodge knows, I can talk all night about this. I'll try not to, but just to let you know, Applied Economics has actually been doing business as Applied Economics since 1995, but I've been doing this work really since the late 80s. And in that time, we've had the privilege of serving over 70 Arizona school districts. And many in the Valley over and over again. And last year we had the privilege of serving about 30 different school districts in just the last year. So we've seen a lot of this stuff, and I've seen it go from when it was really fun because everybody was growing and we were building new schools like crazy, to the current situation, which is nearly not as much fun. And so in studying all of that, we use basically the same outline, same scope of work, which is, of course, analyzing enrollment data. And not only just total enrollment data, but geographic distribution of enrollment, really down to the neighborhood level. We're looking at quarter square miles to see how enrollment is varying over time. We are now in the business of tracking alternative providers, charter schools, private schools, trying to understand how that plays into the difference between our school-age population and what they're actually serving, through the district schools. The demographic characteristics of the existing population. Well, everybody tends to focus on the big cranes and all the growth and stuff that they see. The real differences are coming from the aging and transformation of the existing population. You have a very large established existing population. So the amount of change that any amount of construction can really make, at least in a short period of time, is fairly limited. It's really the demographics that are driving this, and we're going to talk hopefully more about that. That said, we obviously do look at residential development impacts, big and small, and and far and wide, to try to see what those impacts might be. And then we do two economic models. One is a macroeconomic top-down. How does the district fit into the Southeast Valley, into the metropolitan Phoenix economy, the big picture stuff? And then the more important one, I think, is what I was just saying, where we look at, basically down to the neighborhood level to try to understand what's going on. So the big picture for the district is that in the last 14 years, they've lost about 2,000 students, about 2,700 from inside the district, and then have actually gained about 600 coming in from outside the district, which does help offset that. However, 2,000 students is what we like to think of as a high school. And so that is obviously at this point causing a great amount of concern because of the amount of loss. And if you look at the shape of this chart, and I'm not going to recite numbers, but it was really rather steady until about 5 years ago. And the real drop off, 1,400 or so students, has been just in the last 5 years. And so again, becoming really acute, especially when it comes to fiscal considerations for the district, especially in opportunity where they have to deal with current year funding. They only get paid this year for who shows up this year. And so it's become very, very, very critical to understand that. And inside the district, the enrollment peaked clear back in 2005-06 at over 12,700 students. And so the 9,300, 9,400 that we have today is over 3,000 less than where the in-district number peaked. And that's only important because that's what they built facilities for. They needed a seat for all of those kids. If you look at this chart, you'll figure out that you're not alone in what's been going on lately. Every major district, every established area that we work for every single one of these districts. I turned Tempe Union into a K-12 by adding Kyrene and Tempe Elementary into it so you can compare apples to apples, but you can see the shape of everyone's curve is very, very much the same. Unfortunately, Mesa has really suffered the last couple of years. I think that's a lot of homeschooling. That's actually hitting them. It's not a demographic shift, it is a delivery shift. But anyway, again, you've got good company. Everyone is experiencing basically the same phenomenon. And it plays itself out in a very interesting way when you look at grade level breakdowns. And so this is just looking at the average enrollment per grade in 4 big cohorts, the K4, 5, 8, 9, 12 group. And so, this district enrollment is only based on the kids in Tempe Elementary and Kyrene Elementary. Doesn't take into account all the kids that are in charter schools and so forth. And the reason why the green line is getting further away from the red and blue line is that because charter schools and alternative providers have had a much larger impact at the K-8 level. So we do see a bigger ratio between the 8th graders we had last year and the 9th graders we have this year. It's not making up the difference, but it is changing the shape of the curves. And these curves follow each other. And so if you see that little peak in the blue line in 14 and then a little peak in the red line in 18, and then you follow it across, and the problem is that what we're looking at in the future doesn't give us a lot of hope. Because if these curves truly do follow each other, then the decline in the high school enrollment is kind of just getting started. And actually statewide, enrollment in high schools did not decline until last year, even though K-8 had been in decline for almost 10 years. I talked about the neighborhood stuff, how we look at things in the sub-district level. This is just a map of where all the students lived in 24, 25, the count of students, coming out of each one of these. We have record that shows me how many students came out of each one of these boxes back to 2004. So I can look at the neighborhood level for over a 20-year period. And just in the last 5 years, when we've been talking about that loss of like 1,400 or so students, this is where it's occurred. So everywhere you see blue on here has been a loss in enrollment. Everywhere where you see red, there's been a gain in enrollment. And one of the interesting things about this map is that it reflects where you are in your life cycle. So the northern part of the district, even though enrollment is way down from where it peaked, back in the 80s and 90s, it's actually kind of stabilized. And I'm really seeing that, some of these neighborhoods are beginning to turn over. And probably some of the density you're creating to get students, more closer to campus might actually be helping that. But it's still, in the southern part of the district and elsewhere, prices and alternative providers and everything else have really been pulling down enrollment, and the demographics, of course, which we'll talk about in a minute. But that's the kind of level of data that they have to plan with when we're really looking at school A versus school B versus school C. The overall district demographic trends, have been fascinating, because between 1990 and 2000, the total population increased by almost a third, from 200, or almost half, really, from 212,000 to 292,000. 2010 was, as everyone knows, basically the pit of the recession. And so a lot of empty housing units and not much growth. And then in the last decade, we've seen, a bit of a return to growth in terms of population and housing units. What's different and what started in the 2000s was actual loss in the population under 18. And if you look at the more detailed demographic tables, you'll find out that the householders in the district are becoming bifurcated. So we have high concentrations of young householders, really young householders, and high concentration of old householders. And we're losing in the middle, which is what is driving that school-age population number, along with this, which is the big elephant in the room, which is that looking at birth rates. And the red line is the birth rate in the state of Arizona, where it dropped during the Great Recession by over 18% in a space of 5 years. The number of births in that period of time fell from 102,700 to 85,000. And then it was flat for a few years, and then it's gone down again. So in the last year was 78,000 births. So think about, population has grown by, even the population that would normally be driving this is 22% higher, but the number of students is 23% lower. So the rate, has really been crashing. The only silver lining is that in 2019, since 2019, the total number of births in the state has been almost unchanged. The rate has gone down because we're still growing in population, but we're seeing some stabilization, and I'm hoping, we'll see school-age population begin to rise again. But that's going to take an awful long time to get into the schools, and especially to get to the high schools. We've been looking at these enrollment declines recently, and one of the places we look for, maybe where the source is, growth in charter school enrollment. So just in the last 10 years or so, if you look at this, there really hasn't been growth in the charter schools in this district. There's been more growth in open enrollment and some other things that have happened, but the district has had a good enough reputation to basically prevent too many alternative providers from entering. Now, every district is losing enrollment, so the fact that they're steady means they're still gaining, if you will, in terms of capture, but we know that that's not the big reason why we're experiencing lower enrollment. It's those birth rates, and it's those smaller classes coming forward that we really can't do anything about. Private schools in the district don't make up a large number of high school students. Fairly substantial growth in empowerment scholarship accounts over the last couple of years, and these are held by then high school students. And in the first year, the 22-23 increase, about 80% of those statewide were already in private schools, so it didn't affect the districts as much. The last 2 years, it's 50%. So we don't know exactly what the impact is on the districts, to be honest, but we know it's not positive. We know it's another place for people to choose. In terms of construction activity, over 13,000 units added, permitted, I should say, in the last 10 years, 91% of those multifamily. And very little single-family activity, which is still what most not young families, but move-up families are looking for, are single-family homes. And so it does kind of preclude that. And the supply we have that we're tracking through all of the records from all of the cities shows about 26,000 more units possible just in projects we have identified already. And again, the vast majority of those will be in multifamily units. And they're located, as you might expect, where you see orange on this map clustered around the lake and so forth. That's all potential multifamily. Where you see yellow, there's some infill single family, the big project being Upper Canyon at 19th Avenue and the Loop 202, where a big piece of state land is finally under construction. I've been waiting for that for 20 years, but they are moving dirt out there. We expect about 15,000 or so housing units to be added over the next 10 years, which will increase us by about 13,600 households. And what we do is we look at then the stratification of those households by age and renter versus owner. And that gives us the ability to project school-age population. So how many persons aged 14 to 17 will live in the district, or did? So if you look at the 2010 number, there was 15,000 school-aged persons living in the district. That year, in-district enrollment was 12,000. So in that year, there was already a 3,000 student difference between who lived there and who attended those schools, which gave them a service rate of 80%, which at that time was very good. And their service rates are still very good, but you can see in the last few years how those have dropped off much faster than the school-age population has dropped off. And that's, again, a sign of concern. And the last couple of years were, since we don't see it showing up in charters, we're really thinking, ESAs. And more of those are going into homeschooling. It's not really going to private schools as much as we thought it would. So overall, we're looking at continuing declines in enrollment in the district. They could get down to less than 10,000 students in this projection period, from around 12,000 now, and they're already down 2,000 from where they were 10 years ago. So again, there's nothing necessarily you can do about it, but just understand their situation and and what they're having to manage. And it goes pretty much across all of the schools. This is a chart that shows this is kind of interesting because it shows students by attendance area, that's where they live, and it also shows by where they go to school. And so in some cases, say McClintock High School, this year there was 1,145 students came out of that attendance area. But the school enrolled 1,802 students because of the both in-district and out-district attractiveness of that school. And I know that the district looks at this long and hard to try to figure out why those patterns are occurring and to find the opportunities that might be hidden in those patterns. My conclusions, at least for the school district, which I realize you are not, is that in-district enrollment has declined more the last couple of years in particular than we had expected. And much of it is explained by the shrinking in the school-age population also, but there's something that's a little more out of whack than it was. Past declines in the K-8 are the big driving factor. They're just moving forward. The big impact in the high school will be in the next 5 years. After that, the rate of decline will slow. The district's demographic structure is continuing to age, but no more so than any other place I work right now. So I don't think that's a huge factor. We know the residential development potential is limited by available land. And if you don't have available land, that means the land is expensive, which means the product you're building on it is expensive. So that's just something you have to work with. So this appears fairly certain that their enrollment is going to decline. And again, what can you do about it? I would acknowledge that you guys have done more than any other city in the valley to try to address affordable housing issues. And my partner who does fiscal work across the cities in the valley said that you guys are, head and shoulders basically above most in terms of the effort that you've made. But I would encourage you to continue those efforts. And then things that help families, simple things like daycare. It's the biggest factor, especially people considering homeschooling versus district schooling. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Before we have questions or comments from council, just wanted to also share that we realize that the City of Tempe can be a strategy partner to increase in-service district enrollment as well as out-of-district enrollment. There are already ongoing initiatives such as Thrive in Tempe, that we have a focus on regional recruitment, filling that pre to 20 grade pipeline. This is in partnership with ASU. I believe Councilmember Hodge also serves on that initiative, as well as staff members from Community Health and Human Services and our Communications and Marketing Office. We also have representation by Deputy City Manager Keith Burke on the Kyrene Long Range Planning Committee. And so I just wanted to share that staff has already begun working with the districts in regards to what we can influence from our angle as a city, and we know that we value all of our students and residents in Tempe. So with that, I'll turn it over if you have any questions for Mr. Brammer.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Councilmember Hodge.
Wydell, why did you steal my thunder?
Oh, sorry.
The campaign drive was supposed to be what I was going to talk about.
I just gave a highlight. I'm sure you have much more details.
Yeah, so with the campaign drive in Tempe, we had ASU presented it to me about a year and a half ago about what can we do to try to drive the enrollment within our city, and brought the school districts. He had a conversation with the school districts. We all went down there, and Tim Birch has been with us from the beginning also with this conversation. And bringing it all together is we realized that we can't work in silo anymore, like, because Tempe is split between 3 districts. So we had to start working together, and that's one of the things that happened is that it combined the 2 elementaries, the high school, the city, the college, and not just ASU. It includes Rio Salada and Mesa Community College together to see how we can bring that together and bring in the enrollment. And one of the things I am happy that we do talk about quite a bit is we do an exit interview, and a lot of what they say in the exit interview is the reason why they don't stay and they move out of our area is because they can't afford to live in the city of Tempe. And that's been one of our biggest when parents say they move, they can't afford it anymore. And that's why I'm so happy that we are a council that focuses on bringing people of every level into our cities and making sure they maintain. We have to continue to maintain on every level. So affordability is important, and is very important if we want to continue to attract our K through 8 parents, because those are the ones who mostly have the issue when they say they can't afford to live here. So I just thank everybody who's involved in that, and I'm going to continue to fight with this on my path of it, because I see both sides of the coin together. I see the education world as well as I can see what's going on in the city. And, you know, we have some great partnerships. So I want to thank everybody who's a part of it. Waddell, thank you for all you do, and I'm glad you're here. And I want this, guys, I hope you understand, I want this to continue. I think that we need to hear we need to hear from him every year. Once Tempe, the city has sent every year after the school district hears, I think we need to hear it also, because that kind of can drive what we look at and what we're looking at when we're looking at development, housing, whatever, because his information, we don't see that when we look at our stuff. And I'm going to also ask Rosa that we can give a presentation to housing within our district so they can see what we're looking at also, because there's a lot of intermingles that we need to look at to make sure we have a thriving city from 0 to 299. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Any further comments or questions? Yeah. No, thank you. Great information. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Very much for the opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, that brings me to item number 4B, Rolling Hills Golf Update. And I see, let's see, Craig Hayton's coming up, and the Craig. I apologize again for not using his proper title, the Craig. And Jake, welcome. The Jake as well, of course.
Good evening, or good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Craig Hayton, Community Services Director, joined by Grass Clipping CEO Jake Hazelton. I will be introducing and caddying for him tonight during this presentation.
Wow.
Mark Day would be proud.
Wow.
But we're actually just a few weeks away from Jake and team hitting their 2-year anniversary managing Rolling Hills Golf Course. And if you've been out there, you've seen the transformation. They're honoring to the historical legacy of the golf course that continues to serve Tempe residents and folks who have played for decades, but at the same time just drawing in whole new customers and an atmosphere with the amount of improvements they've made, the focus on customer experiences. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jake, but I will be up here in case there are any questions with our partnership specifically. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jake.
Awesome. Thank you, Craig, and good afternoon, Mayor and Council. This, like Craig said, is a very special moment. We've been hard at work for a long time to pull off a public-private partnership that truly changed the way golf is perceived in the city of Tempe, and has made a huge impact on the local community, the folks that have called Rolling Hills for decades and decades since the 60s, and ushered in a new era that also attracts people from all over the valley and all over the world and country of people who come here to Phoenix, greater Phoenix area to play golf. Now they are coming to Tempe to spend some of their time on their trips in town to play golf. So very, very special moment that has been hard at work for about 4 years. And we've been operating through the redevelopment process for 2 years now. And I am going to take you through a presentation that'll touch on the development plan and the execution of it and sort of the timeline. And then all of the things now that we're open that are currently, that's happening out at the Rolling Hills Golf Course. So just a quick agenda and things that I'm going to run through is that construction timeline and that it's complete. So we'll look at night golf, the driving range, the pro shop, the new outdoor bar, the restaurant, kitchen, and event lawn. Landscaping and maintenance, all of the things in between the grass that is very, very important to sustainability. Wash restoration, some of the awesome events that we've already have and that we will continue to have into the future. And then a rounds report, all of the increase in rounds that night golf brings, plus a steady influx of day golf. And then just overall community engagement, some of the stakeholders that have been a part of the Rolling Hills Golf Course and how we're interacting with them on an ongoing basis. So, big exclamation mark here, the development plan is complete. It entailed, first and foremost, the first thing we did was the golf course lights activated. Those were turned on December 1st of 2023. The pro shop opened shortly thereafter in February of 2024, so we could operate golf throughout the rest of the construction process. The outdoor bar, which is the only expansion of the covered footprint, opened December of 24, and then Glen Rosa Restaurant and the interiors and really the full completion of the property operational as of April 5th of this year, 2025. So this has been big news, not just here in the Valley, but really across the entire golfing world. Arizona's only lighted golf course. Among 250 golf courses within 50 miles of us, there's only one that is open after sunset, and it is right here in the city of Tempe. So night golf, for the most part, is at 100% occupancy rate. It is a huge hit at any given time throughout the Valley. There's so much golf here. And having the opportunity to be that sole provider of golf after sundown is something very, very special. And I know the city of Tempe folks that play golf, the folks that don't play golf, and everyone from around the Valley are constantly coming out to the Rolling Hills Golf Course after hours because of the fact that we are the only lighted golf course in Arizona. Driving range enhancements. Before the redevelopment plan, the driving range at Rolling Hills Golf Course was just another driving range. There was not much to it, and that's a great thing because golf is great. But what we have done here is provided truly an additional amenity for folks that play golf all the time or maybe who have never played golf to come out and enjoy golf very similarly to what you see at like Top Golf, right? Or even a bowling alley where you can go hit golf balls and you can sit with 4 or 5 people and have full food and beverage service with TVs. And so it's a really incredible concept that we've introduced, covered, so you can play and get out of the sun. So 35 total hitting bays, 25 of them are covered, designed for all-weather use, and seating areas behind there. So it really is a hang where you can go hang out and hit some golf balls. The pro shop. The pro shop and the restaurant is actually completely redone on the same exact interior footprint that was there before, but with a complete renovation of that interior space. And I've provided some photos to see the great improvements. Pro shop opened in February of 24. We have a huge focus on featuring local brands across the Valley. One to note is Manor. Manor it's basically a sneakerhead brand, but they've done an incredible job of really engaging the entire Valley So just to highlight one, we are bringing in local brands that are featured in the pro shop, and it's not just the national brands, Adidas and all of these that you see. It's really highlighting local businesses in this pro shop. The outdoor bar, this is that expansion of the footprint of the clubhouse. It opened in December of 2024. It's full service food and beverage from Glen Rosa, which is the restaurant. It's an incredible amenity for the golfers. So previously you kind of had to go inside and then you can go to the tee. But now this is incredibly accessible for the golfers, and then also people that are here just to go hang out and look at the Papago Buttes, enjoy the weather, and enjoy the amenity. The kitchen, it opened April 5th of 2025. Sonoran live fire cooking is the cuisine. It's really like answering the question, what is Arizona food? So we'll get into that a little bit more, but the kitchen is complete and completely restored and beautiful. The Glen Rosa restaurant. So this, I'm gonna take a little bit of time here because this really is the highlight that was a huge part of the proposal that we put in on that initial RFP process. We wanted to make this place a destination for both golfers and non-golfers. People, they come where there's food. People gather around food to enjoy a nice night or day and hang out. So the Glen Rosa restaurant has already proven to be a destination place for those golfers and non-golfers. The concept is Sonoran live fire cooking. It's led by Chef Victor Davila. He is from Tucson. His native cuisine is cooking in that Sonoran style food. We have an incredible live fire grill in there that is just exceptional. It's healthy. It caters to the kids. It caters to the fine diners. You can kind of get in there for an elevated experience, but you can also have very affordable tacos and quesadillas, and it's really catered around big groups. So it features that wide-ranging seasonal menu, a lot of kids options, and again, it's just answering that question like, what is Arizona food? Landscaping and maintenance. We talk a lot about the golf course and sustainability practices, reducing turf, defining where turf is, because at one point the Rolling Hills Golf Course was almost turf all the way, the whole 93 acres. Over time, that has reduced, and there has been in between the golf holes where it's not really sure if it's turf or if it's desert. So we've taken on a huge initiative to restore landscaping and maintenance where the turf is not critical. So I put 2 before and after photos that our maintenance crew is constantly working on. Kind of gets overlooked, but it's those simple things that are slowly going to be restoring desert over time. So expanded pathways through riprap on the golf course, that's been a topic. It's kind of been a transition process through this restoration into desert in certain areas. So that's been a huge thing, is how do you safely get people into the desert and out of the desert? And then just general containment around the course. When it was turf and then it wasn't turf, every time it rains, it created all kinds of runoff around there. So little projects throughout the course that kind of get overlooked but are very impactful on the environment. Part of that is the wash restoration effort. We have a ton of groups that are engaged into this process from to really restore it, not just like the little areas, but huge, multiple acres at a time. Former turf areas that have not been re-landscaped, that's suffering from erosion. So restoration focus, we have 3 zones that we're working on. Zone A is completed. It's right by the 7th hole, if anyone's familiar with the golf course. And it's a huge capital intensive project, but it's really all about stewardship of golf, right? There's a highlight on golf, both from a water and environmental impact, and we are really leaders in the space, honestly. And so all of these different projects, we're engaging the community, different resources, and a lot of the folks that are stakeholders in the area have been a part of that. So really cool initiatives that are going on that don't necessarily take spotlight, but are very impactful. Okay, going through some of the amenities. So one of the changes in the redevelopment plan was to move the 9th hole and shorten it just a bit to make way for this increased amenity for people that are golfing and non-golfing. So the event lawn is a very impactful piece of that, right? It is just right adjacent to the restaurant and the outdoor bar, and it really is the perfect space for anything. I'll run through a couple of events that we've had with the new event lawn that weren't really possible before. So one of those is a farmer's market. We launched the farmer's market every other Sunday and ran it from January to April. It's a little hot now, so we'll relaunch starting November after Overseed in 2025 and run that through May of 2026. Every other Sunday, we have 30-plus vendors, local vendors from across the valley from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's an incredible time where golf is still sold out. It's Sunday golf. There's families out there. And then we have this whole other element where people are coming for a farmer's market. They're hanging out. They're buying food and drinks and knickknacks from vendors. And just it's like a community space, right? So really finding reasons to attract people to the property for things beyond golf. So a farmer's market was kind of just a no-brainer opportunity to do that. Yoga on the lawn. We are very excited to have partnered with Nomad Yoga. We have it's going to turn into hot yoga here pretty soon. But just a perfect example of it's an incredible opportunity to look at the 93 acres here as something more than just a golf course. So every Sunday we've had, and this was after this farmer's market, so we're going to have to figure out, we might have to go back and forth. But Nomad Yoga has had 50-plus people out there, doing yoga on the lawn and leading the class before the restaurant opens. Live music Friday nights out at that outdoor bar. We have live music every single Friday night, different artists from around the valley from 5 to 8 p.m. It's an incredible time where we have happy hour going on, live music, there's kids running on the lawn. It's a really nice environment to come out and enjoy. Other events, one that I wanted to highlight was Team USA's skateboarding team, led by Jagger Eaton, who's a hometown hero, silver medal Olympic skateboarder. He hosted the entire Team USA skateboarding event. It was benefiting the local skateboarding community. Again, on this event lawn, they brought in that little ramp, and we had, Olympians from Team USA skateboarding out there. Rolling Hills on the Golf Channel. Rolling Hills has been on national TV now 3 times, one of which was on the Golf Channel, which is the gold standard of broadcast distribution in golf. The Good Golf hosted their second event at Grass Clippings Rolling Hills on February 5th during Waste Management Week, which is a very popular week in the golf industry here. The event was broadcasted live, and they would come back from commercial break, say, we are here live at the Grass Clippings Rolling Hills Club in Tempe, Arizona. And that just really speaks to our heart and what we wanted to bring to the city of Tempe from a golf standpoint. There's a lot of golf in the valley. There's 3 golf courses in the city of Tempe, and so to have that spotlight on Tempe golf just really felt like an accomplishment for everyone here. AZ Golf, formerly the Arizona Golf Association, golf's governing body in Arizona, they wrote us a letter of recommendation in our process, in the RFP process. They have been huge supporters of us, and now we are very excited to report that we actually have a formal partnership with them. We launched the partnership this year. They are going to be leading youth clinics, and we, as the golf course, are donating the golf course and driving range for different activations for them to bring the community together from an Arizona Golf Association perspective. The Grass Clippings Open, this is one of our signature events that we actually operate in-house. It is run on a special event permit. We had 4,000 fans, a complete sellout this past May 2nd and 3rd. It was live on Peacock. Some of the best golfers in the world playing high-stakes golf under the lights in a competitive environment, and it followed up with 2 concerts each night by Bryce Vine and Quinn 92. And so it's just like every single lever was pulled. The space was as activated as it could possibly be. So really, really exciting thing to see. And those are those concerts. Concerts were a huge part of the plan. It's a great way, it's a great space to come out and enjoy the beauty. And why wouldn't you want to go watch a concert in Papago Park? So to date, as far as like major recording artists goes, we've had Landco, Quinn 92, Bryce Vine, and Easton Corbin perform on property. Those concerts are going to continue to roll on into 2026 and beyond. Rounds report, this is on trailing 12 months. So day play, we have been right around 20,000 rounds. And then night play, which adds about 50% of additional tee times to the tee sheet, sits right there at 15,000 rounds. We've continued to have a veterans rate that is accessible at any point in time, day or night golf. The veterans rate are playing 2,300 rounds. Junior rounds, juniors play free with a paying adult on Sundays, so it's really cool to see people utilizing that deal. The resident rate is still well intact and is being utilized, 3,600 resident rounds. League rounds, which there's probably some crossover into that resident rate as well, but league rounds are still very, very strong. Those are at 8,000 rounds. Tempe High School, we're still the home of Tempe High School Golf. Some complimentary rounds for staff. They get to play every now and then out there as part of a benefits package for being an employee. And then other miscellaneous entries are kind of into the event. So if there's a buyout, those are recorded in that. So total rounds, 63,000. I think that was through construction. So it wasn't like there were a lot of closures randomly for 2 days here, 2 days there. We'll probably target 75,000 rounds for the coming 12 months. Community engagement. Obviously, this has been a huge piece of importance to us, to the community, to the city of Tempe. The men's and women's leagues, they continue to grow. They're stronger than ever. We have an open line of communication with them, really at all times. The ADOT League is established. Tempean rounds have remained strong through the transition period. ADOT League is still there. Councilmember Adams holding strong every Tuesday. Home of Tempe High School Golf. And just one thing that I wanted to highlight from an events perspective, we're working on an Under the Lights high school golf tournament, and we're going to call it Friday Night Lights. So not just the football players get that spotlight. We're going to bring golf Friday Night Lights and bring the fans and students. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate the presentation. Councilmember Hodge, followed by Councilmember Adams.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say I was just there a couple Sundays ago with one of my best friends, and we were there on a Sunday having lunch. Neither one of us golfs, but we were there. We enjoyed it just as much, and it was great customer service. I just wanted to say it that they didn't know who we were when we were there, and they treated us just like everybody else, and it was the same high-class customer service treatment. So it was nice. And then I drove by. I had to pick my dad up right off of Papago, and I drove by at night and seen all the people golfing at night. So it's a sight to be seen at night to see that. So I'm just enjoying all the wonderful comments. This is our golfer on the council, and Shin over there. But I am not. I enjoy it. I will come back and enjoy the restaurant on numerous occasions. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Councilmember Adams.
Thanks, Jake, for an excellent presentation. You've done such a great job out there. It's quite impressive, and a lot of improvements. Just I know that we still get communication about people that have difficulty with the rocks and things. I know you guys have made some pathways and things. So just keep doing that so we can, so everyone can play. And I know you've already made a lot of improvements in that area. So good job on that. Night golf has been a huge success. I do play in the ADOT League, which I'm proud of. I think I've played in it for probably 20 years now. And the ADOT, the guy, it's mainly men, but the guys were like just raving about how great the course looked this last time, and I'm really happy. You know, at first they were kind of grumpy, you know, in the beginning of the construction, and then they came around and realized what great improvements you had done. So since I'm out there every week for like 3.5 months, I really get a good feel for the course, and I ask for feedback constantly because I need to know, and I can tell you the feedback has been 99% most improved and enthusiastic. So good job. I like that you're working on the sustainability initiatives out there, and I've seen them firsthand, and you're doing a really good job with those. It's a great way to, oh, I know, the farmer's market. Okay, so we don't have enough farmers markets, so I'm so glad you have a farmers market up there in Tempe. And that is a great way to get to know your neighbors. I'm always wanting to have things activate the community, and so people get to know their neighbors. That's why I've been so stubborn about wanting more dog parks, because it's a great way to get to know your neighbors. And so is this. So is this. So good job on that. The live music, I'm a huge supporter of getting more live music in Tempe. And every Friday night, which I didn't realize that until this presentation, I'm going to spread the word on it.
Absolutely.
So that's impressive. I wrote a lot of notes. That's why I wasn't looking at you the whole time. I was writing notes. And you know, it's a great partnership for our youth because golf is an incredibly difficult game to learn as an adult. And I had the good fortune of learning as a child, although I probably played better then than I do now. But it's a really good time to learn, and I mean, I would encourage you to keep having adults, you know, lessons. Are you guys giving the lessons to everybody out there? Do you have a pro that gives lessons?
We have a pro, and we'll continue to. That's part of that AZ Golf partnership, which is going to be huge for us. Really activating, yeah.
Okay, and I like it that high school, the Tempe High, Buffaloes. Participate out there and practice.
Absolutely.
So that's great. And I mean, it really has become target golf.
Yep.
The course is more challenging than it used to be, but that's, I like it. And I know I've just gotten a lot of great feedback for it. So thank you for your presentation. Thank you for your leadership on it, Jake. And you're just doing a fantastic job.
Mayor, council member, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, any other comments or questions on this item? All right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Great presentation.
Awesome. Everybody, thank you so much. Mayor, council, thank you. This guy, Craig. Thank you. Seriously. D. Craig. Thank you so much. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Let's go to item 4C, Tempe Tourism Update.
All right, thank you, Mayor, council members. Craig Hayton, Community Services Director. I have the privilege of introducing Michael Martin, CEO of Tempe Tourism Office. Myself and Councilmember Adams sit on the tourism board, and we have an opportunity, Michael does each year, to report back on tourism within Tempe, knowing that it has such a huge impact, local businesses, local jobs, but also just providing some energy into the community just to help supplement what we already provide. So with that, I'll turn it over to Michael. I don't have a pun on what I'll be doing for him. Maybe sidekick, carrying your bags, guiding.
Okay, that'll work. Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me tonight to present on the update on the Tempe Tourism Office. So just as a recap, because I realize there might be people in the audience who are not aware of our organization, but we are officially the Tempe Convention and Visitors Bureau, doing business as the Tempe Tourism Office. We were created in 1988 to promote Tempe as a leisure and business destination. That's our office there at 140 South Ash at the roundabout at Rio and Ash. It's a very active corner. We have planes, trains, automobiles, light rail, everything. And I'm very excited because we have our sign finally of the, that's the biggest accomplishment. Forget everything else, that was the biggest accomplishment this year. So we have our sign finally. Our annual budget is derived from the City of Tempe bed tax. So we have a contract with the City of Tempe, which is a 6-year contract. We also receive funds through Prop 302, which is a bed tax and car tax for Maricopa County only. That's the tax that raised funds for the construction of State Farm Stadium out in Glendale. And as part of that, we receive funding back to all the communities who do participate in tourism marketing for marketing purposes. And that actually sunsets in 2030. We also have funding through advertising and cooperative funds from private sector. So we sell ads in our visitor's guide, a website, that type of thing. Currently, we're at 12 staff members and 19 board members. So tonight I'm going to cover a few things. First, our organizational goals. Then I'll talk about our recent economic impact study on tourism, our Tempe hotel industry stats, where we are year to date, some year-to-date KPIs that we track internally at our office, and then look ahead to the new fiscal year 25 and 26, which is just a couple of weeks away. And then a little bit about our community involvement, and then a little bit of time for questions. So first, to start off, talking about our purpose and how it connects to the city of Tempe. We are connected to the city of Tempe through 3 of your performance measures: revenue forecast variance, value of special events, and satisfaction with availability of city information. This is done, of course, through our work trying to bring in visitors so they actually spend money and spend sales tax and bed tax that helps the city actually fund what the city needs to fund. We're also working with our partners at Parks and Rec and other City of Tempe departments to enhance the current special events that we have in Tempe and actually to search out new events for the city. That can also include amateur sports that we work on a daily basis. We're also pushing out information. That's through our advertising, increasing our advertising efforts to get increased impressions in our key markets outside of the state of Arizona as well as within the state of Arizona. And then we're actually providing as much information as possible through our visitor's guide, our website, our social media. So make sure that the information is accurate and useful to the visitors and also to residents alike. We recently released our tourism impact study for the calendar year 2024. So we do this study on an annual basis. It is conducted by a company called Tourism Economics. And this is just a very high-level view of it. We have the full report available on our website for anybody to download at tempetourism.com. But you can see our total visitation has steadily increased since the pandemic. In 2020, that number would have been well under the 3.6 million. So in the course of the 3 years, we've gone from 3.6 million to 4.5 million visitors in Tempe. Our number of jobs also has slightly increased. That is the one area that was of great concern after the pandemic because so many people in the industry lost their jobs. And so we're seeing a recovery, but it's been slow. So just over 7,000 direct jobs in Tempe. And then direct spending in 2024 equaled $1.12 billion, which is slightly ahead of last year at $1.08 billion. To give you some insider look at our stats here in Tempe for our hotels. So the rooms in Tempe in 2024 equaled 7,241 rooms. So the increase from 2021 is reflective of the Omni as well as the Fairfield and Town Place Suites, which is over by Tempe Marketplace. So we haven't grown extensively in terms of total room nights. We're at a leveling off period right now, which is probably a good sign because our hotels do need a little bit of a breather with the current marketplace. And so that's a really strong number, over 7,000 room nights in Tempe, which is fantastic. In terms of total rooms sold, we look at 2021, there were 1.5 million rooms sold in the city of Tempe through the calendar year. This past year, that's increased to 1.75 million total rooms sold in the city. And then our occupancy is floating around 66, 67%. Occupancy is obviously not an apples to apples because we have more rooms this year than we did in the previous year. So I tend to look at rooms sold as the real litmus test on how well we're doing. Our average daily rate, this is the number that the hotels care about the most because they want to make sure that our revenue numbers are going up. So in 2021, we were at 103, and that's a very dramatic growth to 2024. Last year, we were at $150, but this year we're at $147, which is still very strong and very good. Our total hotel revenue in 2024 was $257 million. That's a very strong growth from 2021, which was at $156 million. So things are going in the right direction. Now I'm going to embarrass my staff a little bit because I have photos of them in these slides. But with me today, I have Crystal Rodriguez, our Director of Marketing, and Matt Connolly, our Director of Sales with us. So I'm going to start with sales. this is the place to be. One exciting thing that just happened is that we were listed for the top 50 for CVent for a second year in a row. Now, people in the audience, and you might not know what that means, but in the industry, this is very significant because CVent is the portal for which most of the meeting planners in the industry submit their RFPs and search for destinations. So for us to be in the top 50 of all the US cities is a huge win for Tempe, and we hope that we land on that list again next year. We also hosted two very important groups this past year, Express Association and Global Synergies. So this is important because it gives us an opportunity to bring in meeting planners and event planners so they can experience the city for themselves. So not just at the hotel, we get them out. We actually had they actually set up a little amazing race through downtown Tempe. We had an event at Pedal House. So we get them out and about to see the city so that they in turn can decide, hey, I want to bring my meeting back to Tempe. We also host an annual spring training event in Tempe Diablo Stadium with over 40 of our partners, which is great. And our new trade show booth, which is, I wanted to show this photo because it shows our new booth. And I also wanted to show the photo as a reminder that we're at a trade show in this photo. And we're amongst one of many destinations. It's very competitive in this space. So our beautiful new booth is now able to use. It's some of you who attended our annual event, you would have seen our booth, but we're very proud of it, and it matches our new brand, which is very exciting. Annual sports groups that we're still working with, and we work in concert with the city of Tempe on these, Ironman Arizona, of course, Rock and Roll Marathon, Triple Crown, which is huge for Tempe, as well as Legends CrossFit, which we host at ASU fitness facility. And then this data is only through April of 2025. We will produce our annual event, our annual report, which will have our final numbers for the fiscal year. But so far, group and sports sales leads, we've had 631 through April, and then a total group and sports bookings of 116 through April. And of course, we'll add May and June to our annual numbers. This is the marketing team. You have Crystal, Alicia, and Adrian. And so we had a very banner year, if you could say that, in the marketing side of things. We have a new brand, a new website, a new destination video, and a new advertising agency, all in 1 year. And you can see the stress on my face in that photo. No, actually, this was a very exciting event because after a year of this development, we won a few awards. So the American Advertising Awards Phoenix Ad Club awarded us the gold for website design as well as bronze for integrated brand identity. That's where this photo was taken. And then about a month or so later, the American Marketing Association Awards, the Arizona chapter, gave us the award for Best Logo Design, Best Brand Guidelines, the Best Brand Collateral, as well as Crystal, who was in the middle in the audience, was announced the Arizona Marketer of the Year. So it's a very big deal in the work that's been done this past year. So I'm very proud of that, of the work that's gone into our brand and getting it launched and ready to go. If you haven't seen our new website, it launched about 3 weeks ago, so please take a look. So far this year, we've had over 51 million impressions through our advertising. And our website through May has reached over 637,000 sessions and 1.1 million views. So more to come on that for the next 2 months to end the fiscal year. And this is our communications teams. That's KJ and Eiley. So incredible social media engagement. July through April, we had 1.2 million engagements, which is an 81% year-over-year growth. And then 14 million plus impressions, which is a 62% increase year over year. And that's just through April. So we have 2 more months to go in the fiscal year. Actually, 3 more months to go. We also hosted a thank you event for Cul-de-sac. Now, maybe a year and a half ago, you may recall that we did an event at Lucero at Omni. And those events, we decided to do them in a very, very specific way because we can't just do them every week and every month because it wouldn't be special anymore. So we decided to partner with Cul-de-sac on an event, which happened about 3 weeks ago. And the reason we waited is because Cul-de-sac now has about 20 small businesses. If you haven't been there lately, it's pretty cool. So we decided that the time was right for us to give them exposure and give Tempe exposure, give Apache Boulevard exposure to these social influencers. So we partnered with Cul-de-sac. We were about 30 plus influencers to Cul-de-sac. Many of the businesses did small activations. and within their businesses. And then we hosted an amazing dinner at Cocina Chihuah's. It was like food overload that night. It was amazing. And so in turn, those social media influencers are now posting and sharing stories about cul-de-sac. So keep your eye on, I highly recommend that you follow our Instagram especially. We just hit 50,000 followers, so be part of the movement. In the past year, we also worked with 9 different social influencers. We bring them in individually and give them free reign to talk about what they want to talk about in Tempe. Anything from rooftop pools to Tempe Town Lake to dining experiences, that type of thing. Then we also went through a refresh of our blogs and realignment to match the needs of the new website, which was a big undertaking to get the website up and running. 25 articles year to date from Earned Media. And then we have a media hub, and over 1,000 assets were downloaded from our media hub so far this year. And then Eileen and KJ attended TravelCon in Tucson, which is basically a trade show so that they can meet with media professionals and pitch story ideas. In terms of planning and research, we enlisted Clarity of Place, which is a strategic planning firm. In my 33 years at the tourism office, we've never actually had a formal strategic plan. So we hired Clarity of Place to develop a 5-year strategic plan for the organization. Thus far, they've had 5 different focus groups that were held locally here in Tempe. We had an online survey. We had one-on-one sessions with all of our staff, and then, of course, discussions with our board at our board meeting as well as our board retreat. We expect to have the final presentation probably around August. And then we also commissioned, as I mentioned earlier, the economic impact study for 2024. Recap of the numbers: 4.5 million visitors, 1.1 billion in visitor spending, and so forth. And then Smith Travel. We use Smith Travel on a weekly basis. We have data not only on citywide for Tempe, but a breakdown for downtown Tempe, so we can understand where we are headed in terms of occupancy, rooms sold, ADR, those types of things. So at any given time, anybody can contact me and learn about what's happening on a weekly basis in Tempe. And then looking ahead, we just launched our summer campaign about maybe a little over a week ago now. So we always do a summer campaign, but this year we kind of doubled down and expanded it to do something very different and more expansive in terms of what we're going to talk about, promote. So we've asked our hotels to provide packages or specials that they want to offer, and those are posted on our website. The website is summerintempe.com, and those hotel deals last through August. And then we also approached our restaurants with the help of Mayor Woods and Councilmember Chin. We reached out, along with the DTA as well, when I mentioned Lori and her team. We reached out to see which restaurants would like to participate. I think at the moment we have about 14 restaurants that are willing to participate this year. We think that it's a good number to get started, and maybe next year we'll expand and move and grow and grow and grow. But we're asking the restaurants to provide a prefix menu at a certain rate so that people can enjoy the restaurants through the summer. That's through the month of July, just for the restaurant month. All of this is being promoted through TV, social, digital billboards, and we also have a campaign that we're about ready to launch in July with TripAdvisor, which is more of a regional target market. We're also going to, of course, finish our strategic plan, hopefully do in July by August, release it in August, I should say. And we'll be publishing our annual marketing plan, our annual report, as well as our new visitor's guide. This is a copy of our current visitor's guide, which is a photo that we received from Chris Baxter and her team, which is a great shot on top of a rooftop restaurant and bar. And so we'll be producing our new visitor's guide starting in 2026. We also are enhancing our partner meetings with restaurants and hotels this coming year. Obviously, we continue to develop our meeting and sports planner connections, our social influencer campaigns, and our media relations. And then lastly, just talk a little about our participation in the community. So obviously we hosted our annual event in February, which was a big success. We changed up the format a bit, and we had over 200 people, about 200 people attend. We had a presentation from Tourism Economics on a forecast for tourism, which a month later really didn't matter because of the tariffs and all the changes in the economy. So I think we're all going month by month now in terms of the forecast. We revealed our new brand at the annual event with our new destination video. And then we provide sponsorship support. We believe this is important because our partners who produce the events are producing the content and producing the programs that we need to draw visitors to Tempe. Events are a major part of why people search us out on our website. So we supported the DTA's events, including Fantasy of Lights Boat Parade, Tempe Blooms, upcoming Juneteenth this Saturday, and we were supportive of the Pride Festival last Saturday as well. And they do a great job with those events. I'm really proud of Lori and her team. We also support, of course, Tempe Chamber of Commerce events, as well as the Greater Phoenix Equality Chamber. And we also work with Asian corporate and entrepreneur leaders, trying to encourage them to host their meetings here in Tempe. And we also supported Open Streets, which was the new event that happened just in April already. It's been 2 months. And of course, we support Ironman Arizona Rock and Roll in conjunction with our partners at the City of Tempe. We have a special partnership with Innings Festival and Extra Innings. It's a cooperative marketing campaign. It's not just a blank check that we give as sponsorship. Instead, it is more of how do we market the event outside of Arizona to draw people to come to the event. So it's a really great cooperation, a great cooperative program with them. We also support Local First Arizona with their Devour event in 2025 at the Desert Hotel and Garden. And lastly, we supported a couple of nonprofits this year, Save Our Starving Children, and we awarded Ability 360 with our GEM Award at our annual event. So I'll take any questions if you have any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Michael, we used to have a few things going on, don't you?
Yes.
I'm honored to serve on this board. I love the new sign. I know we waited a long time for that sign, but it looks great, and our new logo, and that turned out really nice.
Yeah.
You're a fantastic leader, and you have a fantastic staff.
Well, thanks.
They're fun, and they're wicked smart, and I'm just really proud of them.
Thank you.
The retreat was one of the best retreats. We recently had a retreat, and it was one of the best I've ever attended on from any organization.
Oh,
so congratulations on that. I'm going to point out, we do $1.12 billion that we generate each year. I think that people don't really understand how much money that is, and they don't know how much we have for tourism. But $1.12 billion is a significant amount of money. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Burdetta. The fact that you made the top 50 list in the country, that speaks volumes. Crystal, congratulations on your Marketer of the Year. That's well deserved, and you did a fantastic job on it. And I just wanted to say thank you to you and your staff, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And I'm proud to serve.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate that.
also Craig, you're doing a great job on the board also. So we tag team well.
That's right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Garland.
Thank you for your report. I also love your monthly newsletters that you send out to keep us updated on what you're doing. Thank you so much. I think that communication is awesome. So thank you for doing that. I did pull up your stayintempe.com, great website. And it's funny, grass clippings, I see that they've left, but you've highlighted them on here as one of the places to go. And looked at the restaurants. The restaurants look great. This is wonderful information. I'm going to use this.
Good.
For me, also, I'm thinking about the things that the link on here, it says, what can you do indoors? Well, that was really smart. When it's so hot, you gave us a good list of stuff. So great website. Thank you.
Thank you. And the website I want to mention, it is, I like to think that we don't act as a normal tourism office. I like to think that we think differently. And so the new website is really more about telling stories and curating information, especially in the blogs, so that people can be inspired to want to travel to Tempe. I mean, sometimes it's hard to compete with Google. If you're standing on the street, like, where are the top Mexican restaurants? You're going to go to Google a lot of times. So what we're trying to do is make sure that we share Tempe's story to inspire people to want to be here. And then have them search out what's best for them. So it's a little bit of a different website for us, and so I'm really excited about it.
It looks great. Great
you.
information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Chin?
Thank you, Mayor. Michael, thank you and to your team for being such great partners with our marketing and communications team. Also, sure, Lori's not here, but DTA. But I think the three groups, and and you just said it. I am constantly impressed by the work of your team and how innovative you are, and you do think differently, and I really appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else on council? Any further comments or questions?
Thanks.
All right, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Great
you.
presentation. All right, that brings me to item 4D, Communication Plan 2025 through 2027. And I see Chris Baxter Ging and David Leibowitz coming forward. Good afternoon, or evening, I guess I should say at this point.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Chris Baxter Ging. I'm your Communication Director. And with me today is David Leibowitz of Leibowitz Solo.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, thanks for having us.
And I'm going to see if I can make this work. Getting punked by staff. So, we are here today to talk about our citywide communication plan. That falls in alignment with Performance Measure 2.1, the satisfaction of information availability. And to go on, we saw you last June to talk about a communication plan outline and give you our initial statement and some looks at what we might be trying to accomplish in the next year. We're here today to tell you what we have accomplished since then and get your feedback. So since we saw you last June, we have some new team members. We repositioned a PIO, Pat Shanahan, who is now working with our public safety teams, fire predominantly, but also with our police teams, community development, and diversity office. We hired a social media expert to help us really update our game. We added a communication specialist who not only is bilingual and is a great writer, but also does some of the work with Tempe 11. And he's helped us with doing Spanish translations on some of our parades. It's been fantastic having him. The thing all these team members have in common is they're all very visually focused. The world today is much more visual, more video, more photos, moves a lot faster. And this is a look to what the future of our team will continue to be. We invested in a lot of new technology. We improved our website functionality in the last year, and we're going to continue to do that. We have some ideas for the future. We added a new public records system along with strategic management in the city clerk's office and a lot of other city departments called Just FOIA. We got new licenses for Canva and Sprout Social, which have really made us a lot more efficient. And finally, in this category, we updated a lot of the gear that helps broadcast these meetings. And so we added camera gear, station gear. It had been probably 8 to 10 years since that had been changed out. So thank you for the investment. We've added new training. We have new logo standards. We have a new logo. We have enhanced web training and maintenance. And thanks to John, we have some really new social media website training. Many of your council assistants are going through it. It's a seven-session program. And when the council assistants are done, we're moving that through the rest of the city. And thanks to David Leibowitz, we have been doing some media training. And then finally, this year, we rolled out our new look. And you can see that throughout the council chambers, throughout our website, all over signage in our city. We think it reflects the change in our community. I'd like to thank Martha Garner and True for their work on this. While other communities may spend thousands, tens of thousands and more on their logos and work, we did it in-house at no cost. There's logo standards, and this new look is used everywhere. Here's just a sample of some of the things. If you were on College Avenue yesterday, you'll have seen these new banners that are up in the neighborhood. All of the things that are shown on there are on College Avenue, and we've already gotten some nice calls from the neighborhood. Also, we installed 24 new Welcome to Tempe signs, replacing the graphics that were there. Tempe is a very data-driven town, as you know. It's important, and our community survey tells a lot of stories. Our question is, how satisfied are you with the information that you're getting from us? Well, more than 80% of the residents in our community are satisfied with the information they're receiving about our community. And this is our highest score ever. It's in the top 10% of the nation. We're very proud of the work that went into that. Part of what happens today, people don't get information from just one source. There's no longer that day where there was one community newspaper and that's where you went. We have everything from our website and our water bill to the mailings that go out to the email blasts that you see, newspapers, social media in about 1,000 different flavors, and the like. One of the things that this survey tells us is the tools that we provide are among the most popular that people receive. So we're going to continue doing things like, working on the water bill, doing our mailings, and continuing to do some traditional media. And again, working on this project to show you a sample of some of the things that you have to do to reach everybody. This is just a snippet of one of the campaigns we did for the Kiwanis Dog Park. We couldn't fit everything on one slide. So there's probably another 100 pieces of information that could have gone up here. But to us, it's really important to use all these tools to reach different people in different ways. And again, we don't just reach them many ways, we reach them many times. We had 22 million impressions on our social media, 5 million website visits, on and on and on. And there are the thousands of media stories that are aired every year, many of which we pitch to get communication on the stories that we want to tell. So this is a long journey to get to what we really want to talk about, right? Our communication plan. This plan fine-tunes all of the strategies that we have to reach all of these people in all these different ways. And it shows how we're going to reach them with the kinds of information they want in the way they want to receive it. So this is the first communication plan of its type. We've had some branding plans before. This is an incredibly detailed plan that goes down to the department level. The plan is going to guide our efforts so that we can remain that dependable source of reliable information, keep that 80% rating, maintain the trust between the community members and the city, and show us as we are, the forward-thinking, world-class city that we are, get that investment, and encourage people to participate. When people participate, it helps us find solutions to the issues that not only we have, but the entire world is looking at. And again, we need to cut through the clutter. I mean, we're putting a lot of information out there, but so is everyone else. So the way we do that is through reliable and relatable storytelling, and again, focusing on those visuals. This plan prioritizes our work and it reiterates our brand over and over and over again. And now I'm going to turn it over to David.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I'm not, the second banana thing is kind of fun. I was following along. I'm like, this is great. I don't have to say anything. No, a year ago we got together. We got your feedback about what we wanted to do. And, it's been a long journey with a lot of people working on this. And it's kind of a proud moment for, I think, our team, for us to stand up here and talk about this. The brand statement, a lot of times in the public relations world and the marketing world, people will talk about, well, how do you come up with these stories? Where do you find this stuff? And the reality is there's just an infinite number of stories that you can tell. So it isn't hard to come up with stories. What's hard to do is to come up with good stories and stories that will resonate with people and stories that will gain traction. The brand statement is akin to, look, we could all jump in the car and we could go on a trip together with no destination in mind and no map, and we might get someplace interesting. The brand statement is the GPS, if you will, or if you're old like me, it's the map that my parents got at the gas station that gets us from point. Yeah, I know, right? I mean, well, because we're like the same age, right? All the people, the kids on the market, they're like, a map? What is that? The brand statement is really a summary of what makes Tempe special. Where did we get this language from? We didn't just pull it out of thin air. We spent a lot of time crunching the data that had been crunched on behalf of the city and trying to put into words in a very short amount of space in a concise way what makes this city so unique to the hundreds of thousands of people who live here and the millions of people who visit. In Tempe, every person, every neighborhood, every culture matters. We respect and learn from our history while investing our energy and resources to improve the future. A hub of education, art, and opportunity, Tempe is home to diverse voices and decisive action. As a compassionate and creative community, we strive to make life better for everyone. That's kind of where the rubber meets the road for this city in many, many ways. And we put that together as a stark reminder to everybody on our team, everybody, the thousands of people who work for this city. What's our North Star, right? What's the map? How are we trying to get from point A to point B? By the way, that was a big moment for me. I pressed the button and it worked successfully. My real technological innovation. We went into the resident surveys, the business surveys, et cetera, and we pulled out some foundational elements that we're calling the brand priorities. This will come as no surprise to anybody who works in the city or any resident or anybody who's paid attention. The idea of the brand priorities, again, is to serve as a reminder all the time. If you are sitting down, as we do constantly, to communicate either proactively or reactively for the story of the day, and we're looking for, well, how do we say this? What do we want to say? This is kind of, it's not the 10 Commandments, maybe it's the 6. Pick your metaphor of choice, but at the end of the day, celebrating diversity, encouraging involvement from all directions, including people who don't necessarily disagree with any of us in this room tonight. Respecting taxpayer dollars, making sure that we take care of the assets that the city feels important. Public safety, whether it's police, firefighters, paramedics, park rangers, anybody who helps to keep the community safe. Building on what's happening in neighborhoods and community activities to make the city stronger. Lifting the economy, creating jobs. I mean, I was kind of blown away by the tourism report. I don't think I realized how incredibly profound the impact of tourism is on the city. And then public health and making the community a safer, healthier place for residents to live, taking care again of the land and everything else. So those priorities are sort of what guide us here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So building on those brands, building on those statements, we have created a plan that you all have. And basically all of our communication relates back to those 6 brand priorities, no matter what the program or service. The images, the words, they're purposefully chosen. The tactics for each priority show everyone how our city lives our brand every day. The detailed department guides, we met with all the different department heads to find out what their priorities were and find out how we could connect the brand to what they need and come up with a solid plan that has executional items that we can do throughout the year to continue to connect those. And then, of course, we have the social media and video plans because training, technology, and that all is so important to the way people get their communication today. So how are we going to do all of that? We're going to do a lot. We're going to use a lot of techniques. One of the most important one is timely information, getting it out there and getting it out there now as fast as possible. Personal impact stories, how do our programs and services impact the people who use them? Visual storytelling, I've said it many times today, but it's probably one of the most important things that we do. Beyond just those quick social bites and those little tidbits of information, though, we want to do some research thought pieces. And we have something called spotlights that we're going to be doing throughout the year, and I'll talk more about that later. But we need to keep it simple with quick facts, do the research thought pieces, repeat the same message many times, and layer that communication so you see it everywhere from your street corner all the way to your social media on your phone. You can expect more stories more often in more places. That's saying a lot because we do a lot, but you can expect more. You can expect media relations at the highest level, both proactive and reactive. We respect reporters. We work with them to get the information out to the public. There's a new focus on community centers as beloved neighborhood places. Our community centers serve so many of our youth, so many of our residents. We want to cherish them this year. We're going to put a big spotlight on them and talk about them on a regular basis. We also are going to do a lot of regular updates on the large CIP projects that are out there, showing people their tax dollars at work and the people who are doing the projects. There's going to be ample construction signage out there detailing the funding source and the timing of when that project's going to get finished. We'll do a lot of social media collaborations with people in partner groups. That's a way to get more people who may not be following us to see our messages. And then we're going to show how our teams, our tools, and our technology can improve and save your life, your tax dollars at work every day. And we're going to play a video right now.
What's on the truck? Hi, I'm Trey. I'm a firefighter engineer. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Squad 278. So this right here is our jaws of life. This is going to provide us assistance in getting inside of this corridor right here. This is very powerful with spreading metal, so it can help assist us to gain access to any trapped patient within the vehicle. These are known as our cutters. These are made just primarily for cutting metal. These hydraulic tools are extremely powerful.
The purpose of videos like this one is to show people we have everything you need on our fire truck. We're there, we're going to roll out, and we're going to bring it to you and help save your life, hopefully. And behind us, we have the entire team here today, minus Savannah, who is in London right now. These people work hard every day, and you may know them all, but I don't know if you know everything about them. So I'm going to give a quick little moment. Jason and Martha have been with us well over 20 years. Jason is the winner of several Rocky Mountain Emmy Awards. Susie Steckner, a novelist, award-winning writer. Savannah is president of Public Relations Society of America this year. We know Eddie and all the accomplishments that he has, including his awards. Megan is FEMA certified in every possible level. In the event of emergency, we have an expert. True, our graphic designer, is amazing and does a lot of really beautiful artistry. Mary Kate, John, Eric, Pat, I mean, we have an award-winning team, every person here, and I appreciate their hard effort every single day. So what are we going to do? We've got this new brand, right? And if we don't teach people how to use it, it's going to be a brand that Lebo and I know and nobody else. So we're going to host some workshops to teach the brand priorities. We're going to show our Websters how to implement them, our 311 staff. We've got social media ambassadors from all the different city departments. They're coming on soon. The council assistants will get a little bit of education. Our neighborhoods office will help spread the word. Public safety, Tempe Fire Medical Rescue, and Tempe Police. Heather is here today. We've been working together in a great way. So appreciate the support from Tempe PD. Our arts and culture team. Work with Carolyn all the time. She's amazing, and so are they. Our boards and commissions liaison, and our community partners like DTA, Tempe Tourism, and the Chamber. We coordinate with them regularly. We were going through our branding while Tempe Tourism was going through theirs and comparing notes and finding the same things that, you know, what we're finding out about Tempe, they're finding out about Tempe. Our colors even match. So we're so excited about that. And then we're going to see if we can do some onboarding training with the new city staff that come on as part of that role. So how can you help? Because you're part of this too, probably one of the most important parts. So you all have social media accounts. We would love it if you'd share some of the things. You know, consider the brand priorities when you're crafting your posts and when you're doing your events and your newsletters and any op-eds or speeches that you're doing. You know, we have our city podcast that some of you have already recorded and some of you are online for. You know, that's a great opportunity. We have videos for you. And we'd like to come back twice a year and make sure that we're on track. Just to make sure that we're up to date with everything that you want. And now we're going to show you another video. Thank you, Eddie.
Home. It's more than just a place to live.
This is
It's
our new
where you've
brand video.
chosen to build a life. In Tempe, we work every day to make life better for everyone. We do this through building a welcoming community where everyone is heard. Keeping you safe, respecting your tax dollars, innovating solutions for today's top issues, and creating opportunities so everyone can thrive. You can build a business. You can build your career. You might even change the world. Home is where you unwind, make memories, dream big, and spend time with people who matter most. Welcome to Tempe. Welcome home.
That video embeds all 6 of our brand priorities without us saying them once. I hope, any questions? Happy to discuss.
Okay, I've got a few here, so I'm going to go with Councilmember Amberg, followed by Councilmember Hodge, then Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Chris, as a kind of a recovering communications director myself, I just want to tell you that that was fantastic. That's a lot to ask in one short video, and you did it. But I got to say, you know, without the staff, you can have the best plan in the world, but if you can't implement it, it's just a plan. And I don't think that you've got a single person up in your office that I don't really, really, really love. Each one of them light up the room whenever they come in. I know I'm getting really sappy here. But I think you guys have done a fantastic job. And I know that I told you I would ask Rosa, so I'm going to do it now. But I think the communications department needs to have Kitten Day once a month. What a setup.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Amberg. Councilmember Hodge?
Thank you. I kind of, Councilmember Amber took some of my words, but you guys have done so much over the years. I mean, and we come up with some things right at the last minute, and you're always there to make sure that we have it all taken care of. So I just thank you guys, each and every one of you, for everything. I was lucky enough to have time to get a chance to see each and every one of you in your office and meet with you guys, and just astonished at all the things. This is just a tab of what they do. It's just the surface of it. I mean, you know, we have the best media team. So I'm just proud and honored to be, you know, here standing in front of you saying thank you. And I'm glad we continue to work together.
Thank you. Councilmember Adams?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. David and Chris, you are making the best communications team I've ever known. And that's decades. So I'm really proud of you for what you've done and what you're going to continue to do. It's really just so heartwarming for me to have such a great communications team. And, you know, being out at the dog park last Saturday, and you had all the, you know, the cameras rolling and the dogs were going crazy, and it was really fun. And I also think that you have the best team that our city has ever seen. And your staff do such a great job. They move mountains. And I just really appreciate each and every one of you. I know each and every one of you, and it's a pleasure to see this team come together in such a functional way. So thank you for your hard work and dedication. Keep up the great work.
Thank you very much. Yes, Vice Mayor Garland?
I was going to say that I love the team. I love what you guys do. David, it's been a lot of fun working with you, and the media training you gave us, I really, really enjoyed that. So thank you so much. I thought that was really important for us. And that your team is incredible. And it's not only just getting the work done, but getting it done and having fun, which I love. So thank you so much for all the help that you have and all the help that you've given me to not make me look silly in media. So thank you so much for everything. Chris, thanks for the work you do. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else on council with any further comments or questions? Yes, Councilmember Hodge?
Yeah, Chris is the only person that can make us have milk mustaches, and you drive a NASCAR car. So only one can do that is Chris. And I just want to thank. I had a video today, and he did it in one shot at my high school for the city council. So, you know, it's just, and last minute, last minute chance on it. So thank you guys.
Excellent, thank you. Anyone else on council? Any further comments or questions? Yes, David.
I just, I had to jump in for 1 second. You know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's cut in half between time as a journalist and time as a communications professional. I've never worked with a team like this group of people. And I've worked with every municipality, every city and town in the valley, either as a reporter or as a consultant. Their passion for the city, their willingness to jump in, their tirelessness, they're willing to bring ideas to the table and discuss them respectfully, but also disagree respectfully. It's pretty amazing. And I have to, because Chris talked about everybody on the team except herself, and even is wearing sunglasses in the picture so we don't recognize her. She's a terrific leader, and she has been really a great partner and a great inspiration. And I think I speak for the rest of the team when I say it's great to work with her and for her. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, I most certainly can't follow that. So anyone else? Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the update and presentation and the deep glimpse into the future, and thank you to the team. I was sweating through that whole presentation because I was afraid you would show outtakes of some of our videos. So I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. Yeah, thank you.
We'll save that until, another time.
Yeah, those are in my office in a locked drawer.
Eddie has them all, you know that, right?
Yeah,
Lastly, shout out to Jason Wolf, who's on the other side of the street.
Absolutely. No, thank you to each and every one of you. And other than sometimes Eddie's questionable taste in hip hop, I love you all. I'm just kidding. I love you all. Thank you. You too, Eddie. All right, so next up here, item number 5, call to the audience. The City Council welcomes public comment at this time for the Committee of the Whole items on this work study session agenda. There is a 3-minute time limit per speaker. I don't have any speaker cards, Madam Clerk. Any cards that popped up?
None.
All right, anyone in the audience wishing to address the council under item number 5? If so, please get my attention. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move to item number 6, Committee of the Whole. So first up, item 6A, proposed council subcommittees. Per City Council Rule 7, subsection 2B, any 2 members of the council may propose the formation of a subcommittee at a work study session of the council by identifying the purpose of the proposed subcommittee and the proposed members of the subcommittee and obtaining approval of the majority of the council. So first up here, we have item 6A1, which is age-friendly Tempe, and I'm going to turn to Vice Mayor Garland.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. So the committee that we're looking at doing is called Age-Friendly Tempe, and it's to develop and implement an age-friendly Tempe action plan for 2026 through 2031. The current plan has expired or is expiring this year. The age-friendly community, we have been recognized by the age-friendly community by AARP since 2022, and reflecting its commitment to creating a livable environment for residents of all ages. As part of an ongoing efforts to retain this designation and further integrate age-friendly principles into city planning and programming, the proposed age-friendly Tempe 2026-2031 action plan will align with AARP's 8 domains of livability, and I will tell you what those are. They're outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, housing, social participation, respect and social inclusion, civic participation and employment, communication and information, and health services and community supports. So that is the committee that I'd like to propose. I have Councilmember Nikki Amberg and Councilmember Randy Keating that will be assisting on the committee. And I will say the mayor mentioned the other night at a council meeting about the dementia-friendly park that we are looking at doing in the future, and that's one of those pillars that that we are looking at. It's like, what are going to be doing in outdoor spaces that's going to be able to encourage our residents, our relatives, our friends that have dementia, that we can get them out outside. And so anyway, I was really happy when you mentioned that the other night, because I wanted to add that also. But so that is our committee, and I'd like to get consensus from our council to move it forward.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vice Mayor Garland. Do we have consensus to move this forward?
Yes.
All right. Looks like you got the consensus that you sought. Thank you. So wonderful. All right. Now I'm going to see if there's any other proposals for a new council subcommittee at this time. Councilmember Chin.
Thank you, Mayor. We would like Councilmember Amberg and I, and I've spoken with you for your participation also, for a review of the mixed use requirement that we have within our zoning. And we're trying to get some clarity and direction on that zoning requirement. Some of the developments with that zoning require a percentage of retail development within that building, and we need some clarity on it, I think.
Sounds good. Thank you, Councilmember Chin. Everyone good with the formation of that new council subcommittee?
Yes. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Are there any other new council subcommittees? Councilmember Hodge.
Yes. Before I do my ask for that, I do want to say one thing. I want to congratulate Councilmember Adams on her being the president now of Valley Metro. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Yes. I think that's our first one. She's the first one to become chair, right? Didn't Tempe?
Robin was.
Oh, Robin was. Okay, well, second.
That's all right.
Second. All right.
I'll take second.
All right.
Excellent.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
For that.
You're very welcome. And I would like to propose a information on a new subcommittee focused on animal welfare and cruelty in Tempe. This subcommittee will explore ways to strengthen our policies, partnerships, public education, efforts to ensure the well-being of animals in our community. Vice Mayor Garden, I'm saying it wrong. I'm sorry. Vice Mayor Garden.
Today with garlic.
I know, and I don't know what happened. It just came out wrong.
Yeah, but we all love garlic.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean,
Has expressed interest in joining me with this important initiative. I invite any other council member who's interested in participating on this subcommittee. Does anybody else? That's what I thought, so that's why I said that. So it looks like it'll be, if it does pass, it looks like it'll be Vice Mayor and Councilmember Adams and myself doing this initiative. Can I get approval?
wonderful. Okay. Sounds good. Anyone else? Any concerns? Are we good to go? Excellent. Yeah, Councilmember Bramberg?
Are you guys going to be meeting at the new dog park in Kiwanis?
You know, we don't know. We're gonna go check it all out.
All right. All right, looks like you got the consensus to move forward with that. Councilmember Hodge, thank you so much. Are there any other proposals for a new council subcommittee at this time? All right, seeing none, I'm going to move to item 6B, council subcommittee status updates as needed or recommendations for council direction. Let me just see here too, is Councilmember Keating still on? No? Okay, I did chat with him before the meeting, so just first of all, on item 6B1, Drink Spiking Education and Prevention Council Subcommittee, he did tell me that there aren't any updates on that item this evening. And then that would take us to item 6B2, which is heat safety for Tempe. Oh, he said he's here. Oh, Councilmember Keating, can you hear me? He said, so he is here, but for whatever reason, we're not able to get him into the meeting. So look, right, he did say there's no updates on item 6B1, but on item 6B2, heat safety for Tempe and Contract Workers Council Subcommittee, Councilmember Keating let me know that subcommittee will be closing since that item was passed at our last regular council meeting. So just wanted to very publicly thank Councilmember Keating for his work and all the folks who worked alongside him to get that passed. That was a huge win on behalf of the city of Tempe and obviously for all of our workers as well. That brings me to item 6B3, which is increased advocacy for Tempe Youth with Disabilities Council Subcommittee. Councilmember Hodge.
Okay, I will be closing that. We have accomplished what we wanted to do. We got our pamphlet started. We met with all the different committees and different departments within the the city, and we presented it to our school district. The only thing that I will say is that we're still continue working on our advocate that we are looking at grants for, but right now, like with everything, it's frozen, but when it does, we will still continue that on with the help of in our human services department. So we will continue that.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay. All right. So, next up, item 6B4, revitalization of Tempe Town Lake Council Subcommittee. Councilmember Amberg.
No updates, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Thank you so much. Which brings me to item number 7, future agenda items. Members of the City Council may request that an agenda item be added to a future issue review session, but in accordance with the open meeting law, there should be no discussion on the item other than to clarify the request. Would any council members like to add an agenda item to a future issue review session? All right, seeing none, I'll close that discussion and move to item number 8, which is adjournment. The next scheduled work study session is going to be on September 4th, 2025, and we are adjourned at 6:02 p.m. Have a good evening, everyone.